doesn't just have a growth problem, it has a delay problem. Today, over 4.5 crore cases are stuck in Indian court. That's not just a legal statistics. That's frozen money, frozen land, and frozen business decisions. On average, enforcing a contract in India can take more than 1400 days. In complex disputes, it can stretch far longer. Now ask yourself, would you invest 50 crore in a factory when recovering your money could nearly take a decade? We talk about GDP, startup, infrastructure, demographic dividend, but we really talk about something that is more fundamental. Trust, because an economy doesn't just run by capital, it's run by confidence, and confidence is enforced by one system, the courts. Today we're going to talk about why India's judicial system may be one of the biggest and most invisible bottleneck to our economic growth. Let's look at the numbers. India currently has 4.5 crore pending cases across courts. Out of these, around 70,000 cases are pending in the Supreme Court, nearly 60 lakh cases in high courts, and more than 4 crore in district and lower courts. Now think about what that means. Every pending case represents disputed money, delayed payment, stalled land, frozen business decisions. According to the World Bank data, enforcing a contract in India has historically taken around 1400 plus days on average. That's nearly 4 years. And in complex commercial dispute, it can stretch much longer. In business, time is not just time. Time is working capital, time is investors' confidence, and time is survival. Now imagine you are a foreign investor and you are deciding where to set up your manufacturing unit. You compare two countries. In one, commercial disputes are resolved in 1 to 2 years. On the other hand, it can take 4 to 8 years. Where would you feel safer investing? India attracts over $70 billion in FDI annually. That's impressive. But here's what we don't talk about. Investors price legal risk into their decisions. If enforcement is slow, they demand higher returns. They build in legal safeguards, or they simply avoid certain sectors. That increases the cost of capital of Indian businesses. And when capital becomes expensive, project slows down and growth becomes cautious. Now let's talk about real backbone of India's economy. India has over 6 crore MSMEs. They contribute around 30% of GDP, nearly 45% of exports, and employ over 11 crore people. But small businesses doesn't have a balance sheet to fight decade-long court battles. If 1 crore payment gets stuck in litigation, salaries get delayed, loan EMIs pile up, suppliers stop supplying. For a large corporation, legal delay is frustrating. But for a small business, it can be fatal. Delay justice doesn't just slow businesses, it kills entrepreneurship. India aims to become 5 trillion economy and eventually much larger. But large economies are not built on highways and factories. They are built on strong institutions. Look at the countries with deep capital markets, stable long-term investment cycles, high per capita income. They share one common feature: fast and predictable contract enforcement. Because when businesses trust the system, they invest boldly. And when they don't, they protect themselves. And protective capital builds slower economy. Let's look at this practically. India's banking system has over 160 lakh crore in outstanding loans. If legal delays increase risk even slightly, banks hold back capital, charge higher interest, or lend more cautiously. Even a 1% rise in a risk means 1.6 lakh crore worth of capital become tighter. That money not going into factories, housing, or new businesses. Many companies also hold large cash buffer instead of expanding because recovery through courts is uncertain. If dispute resolution became faster, capital would circulate quicker, credit would become cheaper, and investment cycles would speed up. In a country this large, small improvement in trust translate lakhs and crores in economic impact. Growth isn't about building more. It's about unlocking what's already stuck. As sometimes the biggest economic reform is simply making capital move faster. See you in our next video. Don't forget to like and press the bell icon to see us again.